Hello friends. So I found this at my local Walmart. This is the Bundt cake maker. It says lava cake or Bundt cake maker, but I don't quite understand how you could make a lava cake out of it besides just putting molten chocolate on the inside of the little hole. But it has all the rivets for Bundt cake-ness. It's very small, like disappointingly so. Makes these teeny tiny little cups, you know, but it was like $8.50. So we're gonna try it, why not? So to test it out, we are gonna just make a very simple vanilla cake, which I actually have only tried doing once, and it was a yellow sponge cake. It wasn't even a classic vanilla. So we're gonna try this. I have my ingredients kind of portioned out here. I accidentally mixed the baking soda and salt in with the sugar, which is like the first lesson you learn in like baking school. But you know, I figured it out later and was just like, whatever. It's a freaking Bundt cake pan. It's a bite. I don't think it's gonna make that big of a difference. So this is technically my sugar, my baking powder, and my salt. Yeah, that's all that's in here. Let's just do this. I'll link the recipe in the description, and I cut it in half. So we're gonna cream the butter and the sugar for 2 to 3 minutes until it's light in color and fluffy, you know. We're gonna let this beat for about 2 to 3 minutes. So, see you in a second. Gotta scrape the sides. Make sure you didn't miss any of the good bits. They're not stuck on the bottom, what have you. I'm just kidding. Now we're gonna add a little bit of vanilla. You could measure this, but I just don't care. I should turn it down a little bit. Let's get real crazy with the vanilla. All right, both eggs, one at a time. Eggs are supposed to be room temperature, but mine aren't, so it might look a little weird if you do this. And that's just because the butter that's room temperature is starting to harden or solidify with the eggs that are cold. So it might look a little weird. It just takes a little longer to mix in. We'll crank it up a little higher to emulsify it better. And I'll probably need to scrape the edges before we add the next one. That's already looking better. Let's scrape it. Ooh, that's already looking better. Looking a little bit like cottage cheese. Let's do one more scrape down because it's not mixing all that well at the moment. Why did I have room temperature butter and not room temperature eggs, you ask? Because you can microwave butter. I didn't feel like microwaving eggs. And I just thought that was a little too risky. End up with scrambled eggs, you know? Not in the plans, Dan. And one more time. Oh yeah, it's like instantly goes from cottage cheese to like whipped fluffy butter. Now we're gonna work in batches. We're gonna do a batch of flour, milk, flour again, until it's all mixed together. That's looking good. So I'm gonna turn it down if you need it. Actually, a little bit more than that, because the flour will get everywhere. Nice and slow, so you're not wearing the flour. You already know what I'm gonna say. Wrap her down. Dang, that's already looking thick and beautiful. Hot diggity. Is Lena here? Do I hear Lena? Okay, now milk. Turn it down a little bit more. Oh gosh, I'm making a mess. Let's crank that up so it really mixes in now. I've never added milk into a cake recipe. Usually it's oil. This little thing came with recipes. I just didn't bother using them. I noticed it after I had already measured my ingredients when I was reading the instructions on how to use it. Live and learn. Okay, last batch of flour. Good. I'm excited. Alright. One more wipe down. Actually, we'll just finish hand stirring it. If this little Bundt Pan thing doesn't work, I'll just make cupcakes. We're gonna start preheating this Bundt Pan. I have already wiped it down with a hot towel to make sure it's nice and clean. This does not look right. Doesn't look like any cake batter I've ever made, but whatever. According to the instructions, you want to leave it closed for about 2 minutes to get nice and hot on both sides. The actual machine itself is really hot right here. The little handles aren't super hot. The only other problem I really see with the Bundt pieces being so small is that, like, I halved this recipe so that I wouldn't have a lot of batter, and there's still a lot of batter. Like, that's probably 1 serving right there. It would take forever to cook these up, but we'll see. They would make really cute decorations on a cake. Like, you make a fancy cake and put little Bundt cakes on top. Is that extra? It's probably a little extra. I'm gonna have this on the ready for when I need to pull them out, which I don't know how I'm gonna do. Probably just use my fingers. Okay, let's do this. Oh geez, that's way too much. Oh, this is a disaster already. Okay, let's just try one. Let's just try one and see what happens. Let's close it. Versus failing at 3 and making a huge mess, you know? So my timer just went off. If this is anything like a waffle iron, I think when the light goes out, that means it's ready. So we're just gonna go for it. Oh, it worked. I mean, I definitely put too much batter in there, so it's got a lot of extra batter. Look at how cute it is. It's like it has a little skirt. It almost smells like a pancake. Okay, we're gonna be better this time, okay? Only a little bit. Dab'll do ya. I wonder, oh good, yeah, the little edge, oh. Yeah, they break off okay. I bet if you waited for it to cool all the way, it would break off just fine. It cooked it all the way through, completely. See how it springs right back up? Let's see how the second batch turned out. Look at how cute that is. I can't believe it. How cute. So I decided we're gonna improvise a little bit of a frosting glaze, like a royal frosting. A glaze, a bundt cake glaze, because that's what you would use. So let's just eyeball a little bit of sugar. You probably don't need much. They're little things after all. And just start with a little splash. Set this aside for a second and let's get another batch going. Let's close it. Use a spoon. Mix this up. It'll start to look like glue. Then it'll turn into like a royal frosting. Glaze, maybe glaze is a better word than royal frosting. I think royal frosting requires egg whites. Maybe we should add some vanilla. Still just tastes like confectioner sugar, but let's see. Let's take one of these. We're gonna dunk it and then flip it. Oh, that one I overfilled a little bit. Do you want to try one with frosting before you go? Here's your little bundt cake. Try one with you.
Brilliant.
He's just here for the sweets. Don't mind me, I'll just be over here cooking little mini bundt cakes for the next 5 hours. I'll make like 2 more batches and then this is gonna go in the fridge and I'll just bake a cupcake tomorrow or something. It's so cute. Nice and tender, moist. The recipe was good. Bundt pans are awesome, or bundt cakes are awesome, because you get a nice crispy crust on the edge. You'd spend 20 minutes making this and like 2 minutes eating it. But how cute if you like poked the hole out of the center and just made like a tower of bundt pan or bundt cakes. A bundt kebab, he says. That's funny. I'm totally gonna bake that tomorrow into some cupcakes. Maybe put some chocolate chips in it. That'd be good. You saw nothing. I think that's the end of this video. The nostalgia, which I don't know what's nostalgic about mini bundt pans or mini, I keep saying pans. I don't know what's nostalgic about mini bundt cakes, but this is the Nostalgia My Mini Bundt Cake Maker. My review, it works. Works pretty well. As long as you have a good recipe, which I managed to screw up and it still made it really well. It's just like a lot of tedious work for very little outcome, but I bet a high school student would be so happy to get something like this to just play with and have fun with, especially if you just buy some boxed cakes mix. Are you kidding? You throw what? Eggs, oil, and some water into that mix, beat it up and throw it in there. Oh my gosh, it's like something fun to do at a slumber party, or at least that's what I used to do at my slumber parties when I was in high school. So I'd rate it like an 8 out of 10. I don't give it a 10 out of 10 because this is pathetically small. I was expecting something like this big, like cookie sized, not donut hole sized. but it's still good nonetheless. So thanks for watching. Y'all have a good evening. I will see you next time. Okay. See you later, alligator. Goodbye.